stop for a moment. Imagine being 13 years old with no money, no food, no map, and no one to guide you. Now imagine walking 470 kilometers alone through forests, through storms, sleeping under the open sky, hungry, exhausted, afraid. Most people would quit, but this boy didn't. And one day, that same boy built the most powerful luxury empire in the world. This is not fiction. This is the true story of Louis Vuitton. Welcome to English Rise. Today, you're not just going to hear a story about wealth. You're going to witness what hunger, pain, rejection, and unstoppable determination can create. And while you listen, your English will improve naturally through powerful storytelling. Let's begin. In 1821, in a small village in eastern France, a baby boy was born into poverty. His name was Louis Vuitton. There were no luxuries in his life, no comfort, no opportunity waiting for him. His father was a carpenter. His mother made hats. They worked day and night just to survive. Their house was small, cold, and leaking during winter. Snow covered the village for months. There was no heating, no warm bed, no safety net. Louis didn't grow up playing with toys. He grew up carrying wood. He didn't attend school regularly. He learned survival. But even as a child, he noticed something strange. Travelers would pass through his village dressed in fine clothes, carrying beautiful wooden trunks. Those trunks fascinated him. Where were they going? What was beyond his small village? Something inside him wanted more. Not money, not luxury, but possibility. When Louis was just 10 years old, his mother became sick. There were no hospitals, no proper doctors. One morning she died, just like that. The world felt empty. His father became distant and cold. Grief changed him. Louis felt completely alone. And sometimes, pain creates clarity. At 13 years old, he made a decision that would change history. He would leave. He would walk to Paris, 470 kilometers away, without money, without help, without guarantees. He left before sunrise. No goodbye, no announcement, just a small bag and a massive dream. The journey took 2 years. 2 years of hunger, 2 years of storms, 2 years of sleeping under trees. Sometimes strangers gave him bread. Sometimes he went to bed starving. He worked on farms in exchange for food. He crossed rivers, forests, and mountains. His feet bled. His body weakened. But his mind refused to quit. Most people don't fail because they are weak. They fail because they stop. Louis never stopped. When he finally arrived in Paris, it wasn't magical. It was brutal. The city was loud, crowded, competitive. He had no home, no connections, no experience. The first night he slept inside an abandoned wooden cart. Rats ran nearby. Cold wind cut through his clothes. He had walked for 2 years, and now he was homeless again. But this time, he was closer to opportunity. One day he saw a man struggling to carry a heavy trunk into a workshop. Without thinking, Louis ran to help. That workshop belonged to Monsieur Maréchal, one of Paris's finest trunk makers. Louis asked for a job. He had no experience, only hunger. The owner hesitated, then gave him a chance. Not because he was skilled, but because he was determined. Louis started by sweeping floors, cleaning tools, and carrying materials. But after work, he stayed. He practiced secretly. He studied every detail. He didn't just work, he mastered. Years passed. He became the best craftsman in the workshop. Customers began requesting trunks made by him personally. His reputation was rising. Then came the moment that changed everything. Empress Eugénie, wife of Napoleon III, needed a custom travel trunk. Traditional trunks were heavy, round-topped and hard to stack. Louis had an idea no one dared to try. A flat-top trunk, lightweight, stackable, covered in waterproof canvas instead of heavy leather. Revolutionary, risky, brilliant. He worked day and night, barely sleeping, hands cut and bruised. When the Empress saw the final product, she was impressed. He became her official trunk maker, and overnight, Paris's elite wanted Louis Vuitton trunks. But Louis knew something powerful. As long as he worked for someone else, he would always be limited. So he took the biggest risk of his life. He opened his own workshop, small, simple, but his. Then war struck France. Business collapsed. He nearly went bankrupt. But when peace returned, travel exploded. And so did demand for his trunks. He expanded, hired workers, built a brand, focused only on wealthy clients. He understood something most entrepreneurs don't. Luxury is built on exclusivity. Never sell cheap. Never chase everyone. Build for the elite. After his death, his son George introduced the famous LV monogram to fight counterfeits. The brand survived wars, economic crashes, and leadership battles, eventually merging into LVMH, the largest luxury group in the world. Today, Louis Vuitton is worth hundreds of billions. And it all started with a hungry 13-year-old boy walking alone, refusing to quit. This story is not about bags, not about fashion, not about luxury. It's about vision, risk, consistency, and understanding that where you start does not decide where you finish. Louis Vuitton had nothing, no money, no safety, no comfort, but he had one thing most people lack: relentless forward movement. And that changes everything. This is English Rise, where you don't just improve English. You rise with stories that transform your mindset. If this story inspired you, watch till the end. Because sometimes all it takes is one decision to walk. Even when the road is 470 kilometers long,